this morning. Shoulders, shoulder mobility, flexibility, upper body, upper back. So, and I should have said this in my email actually, cushions or something, blocks, any prop that you can have, a bolster or similar would be good in the beginning, just for the first pose. Yeah, no, Lydia's not here. That is very surprising, because she would love upper back as well. Okay, I'll keep an eye though. She must have. We did do a lot this morning. Okay. So upper body mobility is an issue, isn't it, for a lot of us? Especially if we spend a lot of time on our phones and computers and stuff and driving, we end up round shouldered and we end up with upper back and upper body problems. And yoga can help us, of course. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on that, and then we'll apply it into our poses basically. So we'll do some shoulder opening. So what I was going to, if you've got a cushion or a bolster, great. Blocks will do if you don't have those things though. So it's up to you. Okay, yeah, no, Lydia's not here. Very unusual. All right, we'll come to seated to start. Here she is. We'll come to seated to start. So just cross legs if you can. If cross legs is still not happening for you for whatever reason, then adjust it. But you might find that if you had a bolster or a cushion or something you can sit on, then the cross legs works a bit better. So you could do that if you want to. She's struggling to get in. So coming to your seated position and then taking the flesh away from your sit bones, just so that you can give yourself a broader base and then start to let go of the weight of the pelvis. Lydia, you've made it in. I'm saying to people, if you've got your bolster handy or a cushion, we'll need it this morning. I'm going to do some upper body stuff. So, but coming to seated to start, and just take a moment, let go of the weight of the legs, relax your shoulders. Just take a moment or two just to arrive into your practice. So we do that by just letting go of all of those things that are racing around in your mind. Just letting them fade into something like background noise. And then bringing your awareness to you as you sit here. And just starting to be aware of the shape of your physical body in space, the whole of your physical body. Try to feel all of your body. Notice any sensation that you have anywhere, all the way from the crown of the head to the tip of your toes. And then bring your awareness to your breath, just breathing in and out through the nose if you can. Beginning to slowly lengthen and deepen the breath. Drawing the air right down into your abdomen, so right down to the pelvic floor. And then using the exhales to let go of tension, base of the neck maybe, back of the tongue, hips, wherever. Okay, so when you're ready, just gently blinking the eyes open. Taking an inhale there, and then exhale, just allow your right ear to come to your right shoulder. So just start to really gently warm up around the base of the neck and just ease any tension away. So right ear to right shoulder, stay with that if you want to. You could reach the left arm away, about 45 degrees-ish. Might be slightly different for each of us, so you can just explore the position of your left arm. Another option actually is you can sit onto that left hand. That's another choice there if you want to. Just so that you feel a stretch all the way across the top of your left shoulder. Just making it more intense if you want to by bringing that right hand and resting it onto the ear. But remember, don't pull there. Don't push, don't use force. Really just gravity is all we need. And then use your breath here as well. Use your exhales to soften and lengthen. Okay, if you have your hand on the ear, just walk the fingertips round behind the ear to the ridge at the base of the skull, and then bring the chin to the right hand side of the chest. If you're not using your hand, just bring the chin. And then you're drawing that left shoulder down, and that makes a massive difference to me, that change of position. So you might start to feel this all the way into your upper arm, maybe down to your elbow. Just stay as relaxed as you can. And then we'll release both hands, bring the chin to the centre of the chest, interlace fingers, and then rest the hands at the back of the head. Just, again, no force. Shoulders are drawing down. Feel that lengthening at the back of the neck, but don't force anything. Maybe you don't want to use the hand, it depends on how sensitive your neck is. And then release and inhale, bring the head back upright. Exhale, the left ear, left shoulder. So again, right arm might reach away. It might be enough just like that. So if it is, stay there. You might want to reach the right arm away, play around a bit with the position, maybe the hand a bit, or you might sit on the hand. It's another choice. Just feel that stretch all the way across the top of the right shoulder. And then left hand maybe comes in as well, but it depends. You might be really tight around the neck and that might be too much. So just whatever. Be gentle. Draw the right shoulder down. And then fingertips round to that ridge at the base of the skull, chin to the left hand side of the chest, or just chin to the left hand side of the chest. Think about that right shoulder drawing down. That could be more intense than you'd anticipate, that, can't it? It is for me, right behind the shoulder blade. Okay, and then releasing, bring the chin to the chest, interlace fingers. Maybe rest the hands at the back of the head. If your neck's sensitive, maybe you don't bring the hands in, but shoulder blades draw down the back. And then releasing and bringing the head back upright. Okay, inhale, exhale, bring the chin to the chest, and then we're just going to draw little diagonal lines with the nose to the tip of the right shoulder, and then inhale to the tip of the left shoulder, and then back through centre, tip of the right shoulder, back through centre, tip of the left shoulder. So again, if you've got neck issues, you're just going to be really gentle with this. If it feels okay, you can start to move on to drawing a full circle, but just again with care, especially if you've got neck issues. And just really gently, don't force anything. We don't want to kind of fling the head around without thinking about it. It's a mindful movement. And as you do that, you might come across places that's really tight and you might just linger there a little bit. But just with care, gently. Adding in or adding or not to that movement. Okay, and then bring the chin to the centre of the chest, inhale to come back up, and then we're going to bring the fingertips to the shoulders, elbows straight out from the shoulders, and then inhale, bring the elbows forward and up, and then exhale round and back and down. Start gently, start with a small movement, and then increase the movement, maybe, snap, crackle and pop maybe. So always, we lose a lot of the mobility in the shoulder joint, don't we? But yoga helps us to get it back, of course. So keep going, inhaling forward and up, exhale back and down and round. And we're actually stimulating the joint fluid by doing this as well. It's good. And fibroblasts, those cells that rebuild. Okay, and then come back the other way. Again, you might find it a little bit more crunchy on one side. Just make sure it doesn't hurt, but get as much movement as you can, much of a range of movement into those shoulders as you can. Okay, then elbows back to shoulder height, and then backs of the hands towards each other behind the head. Shoulder blades draw down the back. Gently press the hands together. And then release. Okay, you might just want to gently roll the shoulders. I should have said belt as well, actually. We don't need it just now. You don't have to have a belt. You can use anything that you can just basically hold. One of those bands as well would do, but we're not needing it right now. Just coming off whatever you're sitting on and coming onto your knees. Use blanket if you need to support your knees. Use blocks between your heels and your bum if that helps you with this. But bring whatever you've got in front of you, so bolster ideally, or blocks, or anything that you can just raise the level of your mat a little bit. And I'm going to put the elbows onto here, and then walk the knees back, and then just bring the forehead down as well. So walk the knees back so that you've got your hips over your knees. And then you can start to let the hips sink back and sink a little bit into the shoulders there. So you're supporting your head as well, so it's not too intense for the shoulders just yet. But you're beginning to open up into the upper body, upper back. And try to relax there. So it's a little bit like our puppy pose, but it's a bit less intense. Try to think about the heart center moving down there. And maybe you can reach back a little bit through the sit bones and make that a little bit more intense. Just start to really relax into the shoulders there if you can. I know it's quite intense, this, it's quite strong, so you know, if you need to maybe come up a little bit, don't overdo it. If it's really painful, don't overdo it. Any amount. Can you soften into the chest? Okay, if this feels really strong and intense and you're struggling with this, then you can always ease off and come up a little bit, and you could support yourself a bit higher if you want to. If you wanted to take this further, we're just going to walk the knees back, and then maybe the forehead comes down onto the mat. But up to you, so, you know, stay with whatever. Only if you're feeling warm enough to do this, you come into this variation. But relax the shoulders as much as you can. Always amazes me, actually. I mean, even you get some really young people coming to class and struggling to just have the arms above the head. We just don't use the shoulders, and then you end up round-shouldered. Okay, relax. If it's really intense, ease off, of course. Okay, when you're ready, we'll just ease our way back up from there. So you might just want to walk the knees forward and then come to all fours. And your shoulders, probably feeling your shoulders now already. So come to all fours, make sure that the fingers are spread wide, index fingers point forward, spread the other fingers wide, get as much of the hand down as you can, and then tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, and we'll come into downward facing dog. You can probably really feel your shoulders already this morning. So make sure that you don't start to hyperextend them. That is a classic thing that we do in downward facing dogs. As soon as we start to get more shoulder flexibility, we tend to hyperextend in downward facing dog. So if you're not sure what I mean, it's this where the chest comes way forward, way down, and then we're kind of really hyperextending the shoulders there. So you want to imagine that you've got a candle under your chest and you lift up a little bit to escape that candle, so that your ears are more in line with the biceps. So if you find that you're way down here and the head's way deeper than the biceps, you want to lift up a little bit and have the ears in line with the biceps. And then if you want to move in your downward facing dog, you can move. And I know that a few of us do this hyperextension because I've seen you. I do it if I'm not thinking about it. And then start to think about the tricep muscles spinning back. You start to ground into the base of the index finger, the base of the thumb. And you relax the weight of the head and neck, but don't fall into that hyperextension. Think about the shin bones moving back. Okay, and then from here, inhale, look forward, step, hop, float, walk, tiptoe, come forward. And then once you're at the front of your mat, forward bend. Knees can be bent if they need to. Take hold of the elbows here. And then totally relax the shoulders. Just let go of the weight of the shoulders, let go of the head and neck, and you might just gently nod the head, yes, shake it no. You might move a little bit there into the upper body if that feels nice. And then we'll release the hands. You can either tuck the chin to roll up or lift the chin and press down through the feet. And then once we've come up, we'll keep the arms coming out around and up, gaze up. And then exhale and release. Okay, does everybody have a belt or something you can use as a belt? Do we? Because if you don't, I'll skip that bit. No, we do, yay. Yes, and Lucy's disappeared, so I assume she's gone to get. Okay, so's Lydia. Okay, so this is a really useful, it's really useful to use a belt to do this because, but I can do it without if we need to, but no, she's disappeared, she's gone to get something. Okay, so we take our belt and then we're going to take it, hands quite wide. Is she back yet? She's not back yet, hang on. Okay, taking the hands quite wide or pretty wide on the belt. And then we start to pull. So not really strongly, but quite strongly. So the our hands, I can't speak this morning, hands are level with the shoulders. And then you're just putting a little bit of gentle pressure onto the belt. Keep the shoulders drawing down away from the ears. And then we'll inhale. She's back. Yay. Inhale. Take the arms up. And then exhale any amount back. And then inhale, come back up, and then exhale back down in front of you. And then inhale, lift, keep the pressure on the belt, exhale any amount back. Inhale back up, and then exhale back to where we started. Keep going, inhale. Any amount, take the arms back, exhale. It might come a bit further each time. Inhale back up, exhale back to where we started. Inhale up, exhale back, inhale up, exhale back down. Okay, inhale up. Exhale back any amount. Now, if you've got your hands wide enough, even if your shoulders are quite tight, you should be able to take this back. If your hands aren't wide enough, it's much harder. So if you're really struggling, take the hands even wider on the belt. And then we're taking the arms back and starting to keep the shoulders drawing away from the ears, starting to really bring the shoulder blades in towards each other. And then I know that is really intense, actually. I feel that intensely. I used to have very, very round shoulders. I've done a lot of upper body stuff to work on opening the shoulders, but I find that intense. So I'm sure that a lot of you will as well. Be gentle, don't push it too much. If it's really intense, ease off. But can you start to think about squeezing the shoulder blades in, press them into the upper back and squeeze them in towards each other. And you're still pulling on the belt. You're widening across the collarbones. Intense, I know. Widen, widen, widen across the collarbones a little bit more. And then bring the arms back up and then release, bring the arms back in front of you, and then you might just want to move them around a little bit. Bring some motion back in there and then come back to that position with the hands. And then inhale, take the arms up again. This time, stop at the top, keep hold with the right hand, slide the left hand down, adjust the position so that the back of the hand faces back and the belt's across the palm of the hand. So we're not inwardly rotating the shoulder with the palm facing back, the palms facing towards your bum, and you're holding the belt that way. Draw the right shoulder down and then start to any amount press back with the right arm and up and back with the left. Now, this doesn't feel that bad after what we've just done, but don't come to the full degree of what you can do. Come to about 70%. And then pull the belt and just work on gently drawing back. Keep that right shoulder down. It's more intense than you think this, especially when we stay here for a little bit. So just keep drawing the right shoulder down. Don't go to your full degree. Make sure that you haven't collapsed into the ribs as well. That's another thing they always go on about, isn't it? Keep the ribs in. Tailbone is heavy. And then you're pulling that about. Think about that right armpit really widening, lengthening. And then we'll let go with the left hand. We bend the right elbow, rotate the tricep forward. So it's like inwardly rotating that shoulder. And then drawing the elbow back, keeping hold of the belt with the right hand. So you gently draw that elbow back and you feel that in the tricep. It's a really nice way to stretch the triceps actually, which you need after lots of chaturanga. Okay, from there, we're going to let go with the left hand. So if your shoulders are really, really tight, you might just want to stay with this tricep stretch here, by the way, okay? Otherwise, the right fingertips are walking down between the shoulder blades. We release the left arm, take it out to the side, rotate the palm to face back, and then bring the back of the hand to the low back. And then just take the belt. So even if you can bind here, just take the belt to begin with. So you've got both hands are holding the belt, but the left hand is at the low back. At the low back there with your left hand, can you start to draw the elbow back so that you widen this bit here? Your armpit chest. So left elbow draws back. And then if you can maintain that openness across your left armpit chest and start to work towards the bind, you start to work towards the bind. If you can't bind, you just keep hold of the belt and you draw both elbows back. But keep the right tricep spinning forward. If you can bind, go for the bind. But make sure that you're still opening the front of that left armpit so that you haven't let that shoulder collapse back forward, which is the challenge here. Okay, and if it's I didn't used to be able to bind, I didn't used to be anywhere near this bind. So it does work, this arm position we use in cow face pose. It's the full cow face pose. We come into this arm position. And using it in the standing poses as well. So it's a good one to work towards. You can use the belt if you need to. You're still drawing the elbows back. Okay, taking another breath and then release. Roll the shoulders, move the arms in any way that you want to, and then come back to your belt. You're going to do the same thing the other side, so nice and wide. Lift up, and then this time we hold with the left hand, right hand slides down, adjust so that the back of the hand is facing back, palms towards your bum, and hold the belt that way. And then left shoulder draws down, right arm up and back, left arm back. Again, just about 70% of what you can do. Notice that left shoulder wants to come up. Keep drawing it down. Should have said that on the other side. I know. So just, not to the full degree of this. 70%, it's enough. Widen that left underarm. Push up and back with the right arm. And then we let go with the right hand, bend the left elbow, spin the tricep forward, so that's an outward rotation with the shoulder, and draw the left elbow back. Again, try not to really force this when we do this. You don't want to you don't ever want to force anything, do you? It's tempting to just yank stuff, don't. Just be gentle, ease it back. Fingertips start to walk down between the shoulder blades. And then releasing the right hand. Stay with that if you want to, or release the right arm, turn the palm back, and then back of the hand to the low back. Draw the right elbow back so that you make space here at the armpit chest. Draw the elbow back, and then you can take the belt and keep drawing the elbows back. You can stay with that, pulling on the belt, or you might start to work towards the bind, or if you can bind, you come into the bind. Keep that front of your right armpit chest open though, so if that happens, maybe ease off and just use the belt. So you're really maintaining that openness across the chest, keeping the left tricep spinning forward as well. Cow face arms. It's usually, I think people who are right-handed tend to find this side much harder. And because I've done so much to compensate for that, I find it much easier now on this side. So you might be much further away on this side if you struggle with this, unless you're left-handed, of course. Okay, and then release. Oh, it's intense. It's intense. Okay, jerking the belt down and then just rolling the shoulders or moving, shaking into the arms, whatever. In fact, that's quite nice like that, just like that. Then, coming to standing mountain pose, inhale, take the arms forward and up and out, around and back and down. Again, as much movement into your shoulder as you can. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, out, around and back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, out, around and back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, out, around and back. And then bring the arms forward with the palms facing up. And then start again. Inhale, big circle. Bring the hands forward with the palms facing up. Start again. Inhale, big circle. Bring the arms forward with the palms facing up. And then again, last time, inhale, big circle. Bring the arms forward with the palms facing up. Inhale, big circle, take the arms straight out to the side. Okay, it's another one that I know that we struggle with. So shoulders down, reach out through the fingertips. Feel that widening between your shoulder blades and exaggerate it, really spread. Imagine that you're trying to make your upper body as wide as possible. Grip the tricep muscles in, so those bingo wings, grip them in. Inhale, and then exhale, right arm under left. Now, you can stay there with your hands to the shoulders. That might be enough for some of us, so stay with that version if you want to. If your shoulders are really tight, you can use this position actually to just draw the left arm across the front of you. You might just want to stay with that. You can work on that, okay? Otherwise, interlace the forearms, maybe the backs of the hands together, maybe the palms come together. And then once you've come to that position, your eagle arms, draw the left shoulder down because it wants to lift, doesn't it? Because the left arm's on top, that happens. Keeping it drawing down as much as you can, shoulder blades down, forearms as upright as you can, and then maybe you lift the forearms a little bit. So noticing in the arm position, that widening between the shoulder blades, exaggerate it, spread even more. And because we're in eagle arms, we can come to the balance as well. So start to bending into the knees, come onto the left foot, pick the right foot up, cross. Maybe the toes tucked behind the calf, maybe they don't. Doesn't matter. Bend deeper. Notice that we tend to twist off to the left, so bring everything back forward. Squeeze the outer hips in. Come deeper, keep the elbows lifted, keep widening between the shoulder blades. And then release, easy peasy. Easy peasy after we've been stepping into that this week, haven't we? Okay, shaking the legs out. Move the arms in any way that you want to. Shoulders should be definitely talking to you by now. And then take the arms straight out. Reach out through the fingertips, spread between the shoulder blades. Widen. Triceps in. Bingo wings, stuck them in. Inhale, exhale, left arm under. Stay with that. So if you are working on this shoulder and that's really intense, you can stay here and you can draw the, I can see your doggy, Lucy. You can draw the right joint in every time. Draw the right arm in front of you. So yeah, stay with that or wrap. Again, backs of the hands can come together to start, or eventually the palms come together, don't they? So, and then the right shoulder's jumped up, draw it down. Be as level in the shoulders as you can. Forearms as upright as you can, maybe you lift the elbows. And then we'll bend into the knees, come up onto the toes of the left foot, find the balance, cross the legs, maybe the toes tuck behind the calf as well, maybe they don't. That takes a bit of time to happen as well, doesn't it? Make sure if you've twisted off to the right, bring everything back to the centre. Sink deeper, keep the forearms upright. Squeezing out the hips in, lengthening up through the crown of the head. And then release. Okay, well done. We should have flown away from there, so we'll do it again and fly away. Bring the arms straight out. Reach out through the fingertips. Shoulder blades widen. Inhale, exhale, right arm under, again, straight to your version of that. Shoulders are drawing down, bend into the knees. And then cross the right leg over. Tuck the toes if you can. If you've turned off to the left, then square yourself back forward, come deeper. Take an inhale in your eagle, and then as you exhale, you're going to unwind and stretch the right leg back and come straight into warrior three. Remember, outer right hip down, lift up out of the left hip. Inhale and then exhale, release. Okay, back to mountain pose, arms straight out. Widen between the shoulder blades. Inhale, exhale, left arm under, stay with whatever variation you need to. Shoulders down, bend into the legs, left knee crosses, maybe you tuck the toes, wobble, wobble. Remember to turn yourself back forward, you're not twisting off to the side, outer hips squeeze in, shoulders down, elbows lift. Come deeper into eagle if you can. And then inhale, exhale, fly away. Warrior three. Lift up out of the right hip out to left hip down. Inhale and then exhale and release. Well done. Okay, shake the legs out. Shake your arms out. Move in whatever way that you need to there. And then come back to the front of your mat. And we'll do a couple of sun salutations just to get us moving a little bit. So modify them if you need to. You're going to definitely feel them in your shoulders now. Inhale, take the arms up above the head and gaze up. As you exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to make your way back to plank. Or straight to downward facing dog if you want to skip this. So from plank, remember, you can drop the knees, tuck the elbows and lower, or come through chaturanga if you want to. Inhale, press into the palms, cobra. Shoulders roll back. As you exhale, find your way back into downward facing dog. Take 5 breaths in downward facing dog. 1, so remember, not hyperextending the shoulders. 2, bring your ears in line with the biceps. 3, you're going to be more aware of your shoulders here now, so can you really lift up out of them a little bit more? 4, press the shin bones back. 5, and then inhale to look forward, step, hop, float, tiptoe, walk forward, and then when you're there, forward bend. Inhaling to come up, bringing the hands to touch, and then exhale. Okay, straight into another one. Inhale, big circle. As we exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to find our way back. Come down through the knees or chaturanga. Remember, shoulders forward for chaturanga. Inhale for a back bend, up double cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1, so just trying to maintain, as always, that fluidity with the breath. 2, soften around the base of the neck. 3, but really actively lifting up out of the shoulders. 4. And 5. Okay, from here, we'll just drop down to our knees for a moment, okay, and then come onto our elbows. So a lot of us working towards our inversions, and the shoulder and upper body stability is the key thing for all of the inversions. Headstands, handstands, forearm balance, all of it. So building that strength, stability and awareness is really important. So coming down onto our elbows from our all fours, and then making sure that your elbows are directly below the shoulders, and then wrapping the triceps, the fingers even around the triceps. Make sure you can get a good grip there, so the fingers are all the way around the triceps. So, and I know that I've said this to a lot of you before, and a bit of a stuck record, but we forget, because I know that because I see it all the time. So make sure you've got your fingers right around the triceps there. And then you bring the forearms forward and you interlace the fingers. Now, everyone, for some reason, as soon as we've done that, we do that. Make sure you don't. So just be really aware of that. We do that. If you look at my shoulders here with the elbows beneath them, that's a strong supported position. As soon as I do that, I'm really in a weak position for my shoulders. So make sure that they stay there. That is so important for whatever you're doing. here. Okay, wrapping the triceps, fingers around the triceps. Make sure the elbows stay directly below the shoulders. And then we interlace the fingers. Start to push the outsides of the forearms down, the outer edges of the hands down. A little basket with the hands with the one thumb resting on the other. And then we just bring the weight back and forward. Simple as. But you're being very, very heavy into your forearms and your elbows. So you're not sinking into the shoulders. So we're going to practice that as well. If you come back to just center with the elbows below the shoulders, make sure you haven't done that. Bring them back in. And then collapse the shoulders. Let everything sink down. And then push and lift. And then collapse. And then push and lift. And collapse. And push and lift. And keep doing that. And it gets you really aware of your shoulders. It stabilizes, actually working the whole rotated cuff here. It stabilizes the whole of the shoulder. So keep going with a few of them. And I know again it starts to feel quite intense. Keep going with it. Eventually, when we come up into our headstands or our handstands, we are able to do this so much that we don't even put any weight in our head. And our handstands start to feel easy. Yeah, right. Forearm balances start to feel easy. So keep doing this action, lifting, engaging. You can make it more intense by lifting the knees and doing the same thing. Or not. So if it's too much, of course, bring the knees back down, have a rest. And it's like a dolphin variation as well, isn't it? You can bring the weight forward and back as well there. But keep lifting up out of the shoulders, key thing. You never really lift. In fact, so doing this in dolphin is harder than headstand. So if you can do this and get like really strong here, then headstand is easy. Okay, and then drop the knees down and then come to a child's pose. Just reach your arms forward, relax the shoulders, let the forehead come down, completely relax. Make sure in your child's pose that you are not holding the shoulders, you're not gripping. Totally relax them. Okay, when you're ready, we'll come back up to all fours. We'll tuck the toes and then send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Okay, from downward facing dog, inhale, take the right leg up and then exhale to step it forward. Okay, turn the left foot out and root it down. And then we'll come straight up into a triangle pose. So straighten into the front leg and then turn your hips and torso to face the left. And you might just want to adjust when you get here. So make sure that you're lining up right heel with left instep and that right knee is pointing over the toes forward and you turn the hips and torso to the right, as to the left even, as much as you can. And then bring the arms up to shoulder height, if you can still lift your arms. Arms up to shoulder height, shoulder blades down the back. And then inhale to find length. As we exhale, reach forward with the right arm. So remember, both legs stay straight for Trikonasana. Reach with the right arm, lengthen between the right hip and right underarm as much as you can. And then the right hand can come anywhere down, the right shin or maybe the ankle, whatever. Make sure that your chest isn't pointing down. That's the key thing that tends to happen in Trikonasana. We're sort of in this twisted version of this, and we want the chest to turn as much to the left as possible. And you're finding as much length as you can on that right hand side. Okay, take the left hand behind your head and then draw the left elbow back. Pin the left shoulder blade into the upper back and start to turn your chest that way. So you're strongly pinning that left shoulder blade into the upper back and the chest turns. And then once you've got that, then you reach the left arm up. So if anything in Trikonasana here, we're leaning slightly back, not forward, which is what we always see. And you'll notice that now if you go, or you're watching people. There's always this in Trikonasana. And actually it's this, with that left shoulder blade strongly pressing into the upper back. Okay, looking down to your right foot, inhale, press in. We'll rotate, I'll turn round. So we'll rotate, I'll turn round so I can see you more again. And then we'll do the same thing on the side. Check you're lining up heel to arch, make sure that back foot's turning in slightly. The left knee's pointing over the left toes. Inhale, bring the arms up to shoulder height, find length. And then exhale, reach. As much as you can, lengthen left hip, left underarm. So that left arm stays high, you get the length, and then release the hand down. Take the right hand behind your head and draw the elbow back. If you're really struggling with this, just come up a bit. You don't have to come over as far. It's better to do it right than to try and come too far and then we end up sort of twisting the spine and it doesn't feel good. So come up a bit if you need to. And then draw that right elbow back. Really pin the shoulder blade into the upper back. Turn your chest. Tailbone's pointing to the back of the right heel here, remember. And then you can take the right arm up in the chest, if anything. It's an open face twist, really, Trikonasana triangle. Not this closed face twist that we always see people doing. Keep pinning that right shoulder blade into the upper back there. And then looking down to the left foot, inhale, press in, come up, arms up, and then release. Okay, just a little bit of armpit chest reminding you about. Okay, so if you just come to standing, you can bring the feet a bit closer if you want to. Bring your arms straight out from the shoulders. Okay, armpit chest is this area here where your arm meets your torso. So it's that little sort of piece there, about an inch. If you were to take your thumbs under your arms, actually, as if you're propping up your braces, that's armpit chest. If you do that and then make a little imprint in your mind about where we're talking about, that armpit chest there, get the idea where it is. And I know some of you have heard all this before, but I'm reminding you. Okay, take the arms straight out and then rotate the palms up. And notice how you do that. You lifting the armpit chest. The armpit chest gets bigger when you do that. And then rotate them down again. And then again, palms up. Rotate, outwardly rotating the shoulder, lift the armpit chest, and then rotate them down again. And then again, rotate out, lift the armpit chest. Shoulder blades begin to press in a little bit there as well. And then rotate them down again. Okay, inhale, open, rotate the palms up, lift the armpit chest, press the shoulder blades into the upper back. Can you maintain that position with your shoulders and just turn the palms back down? And that's quite challenging, isn't it? But it's different. You'll feel different. That is actually what we want to do with our arms all the time in our things like Warrior Two. So we'll come into Warrior Two now. Keep the arms there if you can. Turn the left foot forward. Keep the armpit chest lifted. Left foot forward. Line up, heel to arch. Inhale to find length. As we exhale, start to bend into the left knee. Got an imaginary belt on the right leg, pulling the right thigh back as you bend into the left knee. Keep the armpit chest lifted. Don't let it start to rotate down again. Stay heavy in the tailbone. Gazing over your left middle finger and come deeper into your Warrior Two. Make sure you don't start to lean forward in Warrior Two. Remember, stay upright, heavy in the tailbone. Inner right thigh lifts, both legs are working hard. Remember that resistance that I go on about with the legs. And then inhale, come up. Release the arms, shake them out. Move them around. And then rotate with the feet. Line up, heel to arch. Arms up. Do that thing. When you get used to it, do that thing. Rotate the whole of the palm up. Lift the armpit chest. Try to maintain that and just turn the palm back. Shoulder blades down. Inhale, find length. Exhale, bending into the right knee. There's resistance though from the inner left thighs pulling you back. It's always difficult to bend that right knee because the left leg works so hard. Shoulders in. Keep the armpit chest lifted. Gaze over your right middle finger. Make sure you haven't started to lean forward. That's the classic thing that we do in Warrior Two, isn't it? Not you lot though, because I go on about it all the time. Okay, come deeper. And then release, well done. Okay, just give your arms a little shake. Move in any way that you want to. I'm going to come into, make sure I've got time to come into a really nice shoulder pose for us in a bit. Okay, come back to the front of your mat. If you've got a wall is really good here as well, actually. Have we got a wall? Can we reach a wall? I'm just going to show you this and hope that you can all reach a wall. Okay, Utkatasana. Utkatasana is another place where we want to lift the armpit, chest, chair pose. But when we come into chair, so if you inhale and come into chair, this tends to happen, doesn't it, with the arms? All right, and we want to keep them lifted. We want to keep the armpit, chest lifted. We want to, all of the stuff in the lower body that I'm always going on about, sit bones to the backs of the knees and making sure that the knees are doing the same thing and all that stuff, and you come deeper. But this tends to want to happen with the arms and the upper body. We want to learn to keep everything lifted, biceps by the ears. Okay, and a good way to do that is to come to the wall about 30 centimetres away from the wall with the toes. And then walk your fingertips up the wall as high as you can. And then inhale, and then exhale, sink into Utkatasana. And with your fingertips at the wall, I mean, you might even come a bit closer than 30 centimetres. With your fingertips at the wall, you can't let that sinking happen. Once you come down into Utkatasana, can you creep the fingertips a bit further up and lift the armpit, chest a bit further? And then notice how that feels in your upper body, and then release. And then we'll come back to standard Utkatasana, remembering that arm position. So inhale Utkatasana and keep the armpit, chest lifted, keep the upper body lifted. The shoulder blades are drawing down, but that area is lifting, lower ribs are softening in, sit bones to the backs of the knees. Inhale and then exhale and release. Okay, from here, we'll come down to all fours through a sun salutation. So inhale, take the arms out, around and up, and gaze up. As you exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Straight to downward facing dog, plank or chaturanga. Remember, shoulders forward for chaturanga. Don't come too low as well. Inhale for your back bend, duck dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1, so biceps level with the ears. 2, you're lifting up out of the shoulders. 3, tricep muscles are spinning back. 4, and 5, and then from here, just come down to all fours. And then stack your wrists below your shoulders. And I'm just going to do a little bit of that stabilising little exercise as well for the shoulders. You're going to be cursing me later, aren't you? Okay, but this works these little muscles here that stabilise the whole shoulder blade. And they're like, the muscles almost like little fingers. You can see them coming around the rib here. It's serratus. And it's quite hard to target this little muscle, but we need it to stabilise the shoulder blade. Okay, so wrist below the shoulders. Keep the arms as straight as you can. Inhale, press into the palms, lift and spread between the shoulder blades. And then exhale, upper body dips down. Keep the arms straight though, shoulder blades slide towards each other. Inhale, push and lift and spread. Exhale, upper body dips down. Inhale, push and lift and spread. Exhale, upper body dips down. Keep going with that. Maybe you can really tune in to feel what happens in your shoulders there. Feel the shoulder blades moving across your upper back. Okay, now arms are probably feeling pretty tired by now, so I'm just going to take the knees back, tuck the elbows, and then come all the way down to the front. Okay, coming into this lovely shoulder opener, which I used to really, really hate, and now I love. It's always the ones that we struggle with that end up being our favourite. So again, if your shoulders, your upper back is an issue, you just adjust this, be careful, don't come too far into it. Okay, right arm straight out. In fact, I'll do the left arm first. Left arm straight out from the shoulder, Right hand below right shoulder, bend the right knee, press into the right hand, roll over onto your left hip. And then stay there if you need to, stop if you need to adjust the position of your arm if you need to, otherwise you keep coming and the right foot comes down. And then the right arm maybe reaches up, and maybe you take the foot and make that a quad stretch as well, which can be nice too, can't it? Yeah, I couldn't even get remotely onto my side here back in the day. So if you find these really tough and you struggle, just be little by little, patience, it gets easier. And a lot of, so these deep stretches are good because a lot of people that get this sort of rounded upper back as we get older, kyphosis it's called, that sort of little rounding that then people don't seem to be able to straighten. The kyphosis actually is a lot to do with the fascia, the connective tissue. So as we get older, that connective tissue dries out and loses elasticity. And if you're permanently sitting at a desk or driving or on your phone in that round shouldered position, then the fascia kind of dries in that position, and then you end up being unable to open the chest. And this is what happens to lots of people. But deep stretches like this work on bringing fluid back to that connective tissue to bring flexibility back, and it does work. Okay, when you're ready, unwind. It does work. We just got to be a little bit patient. Come back onto your front. Let the shoulder head roll forward. Relax. Yeah, you know, I've seen this case study about this woman who had a very sort of hunchback, and over time with yoga, she stood up straight again. Okay, do the other side. Right arm out, left hand by your shoulder, bend the left knee, roll over. Yeah, it might be harder this side, it might be easier, so stop where you need to. Left arm might come up, it might come to the low back. You might take the foot and then bring the toes down. Nice little quad stretch as well if you want it. Relax though, relax. And then rolling back onto your fronts. And just check I'm not too carried away now. Okay, so we've basically done loads of stuff now that would have us nice and warm for a back bend. So you can do one if you want to. You could maybe just do a cobra if you want to. You might want to do a little bit of bow pose if you want to. So remember, it's the upper body that all of this is coming from when we get to these more intense back bends. So if you wanted to reach back and take your feet, you can. Make sure that the knees aren't doing different things. You're doing the same thing with both knees. If you're holding the feet with your hands, make sure you've got the same place as well. Ideally the front of the ankle, and then shoulder heads lift up, shoulder blades squeeze in, collarbones widen, keep the chin tucked. You might just stay with the upper body variation. Think about that tailbone tucking, that lengthening in the low back, and you might then lift the legs as well. You might not, but keep that opening in the chest. Shoulder blades in, shoulder blades into the upper back. Maybe the legs lift a little bit higher, maybe they don't. And then release, come down. Okay, well done. And just relax for a moment, let the heels drop out, shoulder heads roll forward. Okay, so when we're ready from here, we'll come back up. And I'm going to just come to that lovely pose that we do in yin. We did it this week. Those of us with tight upper backs, this is heaven. You can do your variation. You can make it really intense with your bolster horizontally across your mat like that, or you can make it less intense by having it long ways And the important thing, if you're going for the long waist variation, which is a little bit kinder, important thing, you don't have your bolster or your cushion or whatever it is wedged up right at your low back. You have a gap. So that the bolster, when you lean back onto it, or your cushion or whatever it is, it's at the low ribs. It's not wedging into your low back. So make sure that you do that. You don't really wedge into the low back, because that's not great. And then you can lie back. Heaven. What else do you want to do on a Friday morning than this? Heaven. Okay, the other thing to do here as well is to maybe just lift the pelvis up and lengthen the tailbone away. And then let the pelvis come back down. So that you could do Baddha Konasana feet, or you could cross your legs, or you could do the bent knees. And then we'll take the arms up above the head if you can, if your shoulders will allow you to, and just take hold of the elbows. And then relax there. If you wanted it more intense, you can let the arms come down to the side. And then just start to soften into that shape. Feel how the position of your back is making you widen across the ribs. Can you send your breath there? Release your jaw. Relax your throat. Relax behind your eyes as well. And let go of the arms. If you've gone for holding the elbows, then just switch so that you've got things the other way around. And then, just for the last couple of minutes, you might choose to stay here. Or you might want to come to Savasana, so I'll leave it up to you. If you're anything like me, you can stay in this, stay in this all day. Sometimes if it's not nice for your neck, actually, if you do this just on your own, for your own practice, sometimes it's nice to bring the head a bit higher, so that the neck's not just collapsing back. But wherever you are, just relax. Let go. Release your jaw. Relax your throat. Relaxing deep within your belly. Take all of your attention into your shoulders, right into the joints, and then just let them go. And then just slowly beginning to bring your awareness back. Gently moving fingers and toes. Taking an inhale, having a stretch. If you're still on your support, just maybe ease your way off to the right hand side. But as always, any move, any stretch that feels nice, and then rolling over and coming back to seated. seated position, take your time as well, but just any seated position, cross legs or not, and then hands together, relax your shoulders. Cursing me, probably. It's intense, this shoulder stuff, isn't it? But it's all good. It helps with everything. Okay, hands together, relax the shoulders. Relax your abdomen. Soften your facial muscles. Just observing how your body feels. All of your body. Take a nice long inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Namaste. Thank you. Well done. Happy Friday. Everything's going on YouTube for those of us that missed stuff. If you can't get on, let me know, because I don't know what I'm doing, but it's a learning process. I'm getting there. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you.
See you next week, hopefully.
Yeah, have a lovely weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.